You like that? You like that?
What's going on? It's Coach Williams, and I'm back for another breakdown. So today we are going to talk Michael Penix Jr. in the Sugar Bowl. If you've been following me here on YouTube or on Twitter, you know I'm a big fan of Michael Penix Jr., and I thought that this game had some high-level plays that I wanted to break down for you guys. So let's kick this thing off right away. So one of the things I've heard from people who are not as high on Penix is that he doesn't deal well with pressure. From my film evaluation, I do not see that. If you've been on my Twitter, you know I did a thread about it, but it was on high display in this game. So this first play here, they're coming out in empty, all right? So empty formation, he's got no back in the backfield to help him, no tight end to chip or anything like that. And they're going to slide the protection this way to Byron Murphy, who is a phenomenal pass rusher. He had a really good game. He was in the backfield a lot, but Penix didn't get sacked at all in this game. So they're going to slide the protection this way because it's only a four-man rush, and that's going to create a situation where they can double him. So they slide the protection that way. Murphy does this swim move and then gets skinny through this gap here, right? But Penix has the ability to evade the pressure and make an impressive throw, okay? So accuracy on point, right? Puts it right on his face mask. And there's a couple other things that I want you to see about this play, right? For guys that don't deal well with pressure, they tend to look at the rush, okay? So we can see Penix is reading the field here, right? So he's going through his progressions, and Murphy is getting in the backfield, but his eyes are still reading and scanning the field, right? So he slips the pressure here and then has an impressive throw to Dunze, right? One of the other things I like about this throw, too, it shows that he's got multiple arm angles. Look at this sidearm throw, right? He rips this thing, puts it on the money. Really impressive, high-level stuff here from that quarterback, all right? So, next play here. I believe this is man-to-man coverage here, okay? And so we've got single high safety, middle field closed, all right? And so Penix drops back to pass, and we're going to get this post corner route here, okay? So we get this post corner here. And so the safety, I think that the safeties, right, are afraid of Penix's ability to throw the ball down the field. If you watch my last video, right, he was throwing the ball down the field on those guys. So this safety is really deep. He's like 18 yards deep, right? So that's really deep. And that depth actually hurts him on this play because when they run the post here and then break back to the corner, he's got, look at how much separation there is between him and the safety that's supposed to be able to help on this play. Massive amounts of separation here. There's no way that he's going to be able to get in on this one. Another thing I want you to see about this play here is the anticipation, right? Really good anticipation here from Penix. Gets to the top of his drop, prepares to throw, and the receiver hasn't even broke yet, right? Prepares to throw, anticipates this thing, and there's massive amounts of separation, right? So, but there's not tons of separation from the corner, right? So from the corner is almost in here and able to make this play, but Penix's surgical deep ball accuracy was on display in this game, all right? So a lot of run after catch after this one. I think they get the ball in on the 2-yard line and they punch it in with the run game, okay? So next play here, all right, so this one, I thought that this was a phenomenal play design by Washington here, okay? So you're not going to be able to see it. The play got cut off from me, but this was formation into the boundary. It still is formation in the boundary since there's two receivers, but it was a 3-by-1, right? And tight end motions across. So what happens on this play, and you'll be able to see it from the tight too, is the defense is forced to adjust, right? So they're forced to adjust when they go formation into the boundary, right? And so they're running quarters coverage here. And so quarters coverage, if you played in a quarters coverage defense or you coach in a quarters coverage defense, you know when you get the tight end here, right, this safety is going to be keying that tight end, and he is going to carry him vertical, right? He's going to be man over depth on this tight end here, right? He's going to cut him loose. If he goes outside, right, he'll cut him loose to this linebacker type right here. Or if he goes underneath, right, he'll pass him off. But if he's vertical, he's going to carry him. So what these safeties will do is they'll stay flat-footed, right? They won't get depth because they're not afraid of getting beat deep by a tight end, right? So over here, though, right, so we got these two receivers here, and what's going to end up happening is you're going to have an inside-outside bracket between this linebacker type, this star type player here, and this safety, right? And the corner is going to have outside leverage on the number one receiver. So if we run the play here, right, you see this in-breaker here. It makes this safety have to come out the roof and double this player here, right? So we got one underneath and we got one over the top. But since the corner is outside leverage, that opens up the middle of the field, right? That's why they call it middle field open. It opens up the middle of the field. And if we go back to our safety here, he starts the play flat-footed, right? Flat-footed, tight end stays in blocks. So now he becomes almost like a shallow robber, right? So he's just defending the middle of the field here. So now the only help that this corner has is from a safety who their formation in the boundary. So now he's the field safety. So he's all the way on the opposite side of the field and he started to play flat-footed. No way he's going to be able to make a play on this football. And Penix just bombs this thing, man. He bombs this thing, right? He's on, let's say when he throws this ball, he's on about the 16-yard line. Gets it all the way down to like, what do we want to call that? The 28, right? That's like a almost 60-yard throw, right? Impressive arm strength from Penix here, right? Just really good. So we'll run the play one time through all the way. Penix gets the top of his drop and just rips this thing. This is impressive and just drops it in the bucket. And we'll be able to see it from the tight. So we mentioned before, right, that there was a motion. The tight end motions across. Right? And so, it's formation into the boundary. So like I was saying before, there's so many things that end up having to be adjusted, right? So I think what they want to do is they want to be in this over front. So they want the 3 technique to the tight end, but he motions across, right? So now he's telling him, he moves over to the 3 technique. This linebacker's telling him, you got to move over, got to get over, right? So the whole formation has to adjust defensively. This is really good play design from Washington. And so one of the things that I hear from people too about Penix is that he's this all-arm thrower. And we'll see it over the course of this video. But look at the feet. Look at the feet. His feet are firmly planted in the ground, right? And that allows him to be able to transfer his weight, right? Transfers his weight and just gets everything into this football and just bombs it down the field. This is really impressive and just drops it in a bucket. Man, this is like a handoff right in the hands of the receiver. Tight coverage here from this guy, right? Really good tight coverage from the corner, but no help over the top. And Penix just drops it in. Perfect throw from Penix here, right? So this next play here, again, right? So the Washington offensive line, I got dragged on Twitter for saying that the Washington offensive line is really good, but they're not perfect in pass protection. I think they won the college football offensive line of the year. That's partially because Penix does not get sacked. But a lot of that is also on Penix's ability to either navigate the pocket or just get the ball out quickly. So I'm not hating on the Washington offensive line, but they're not perfect, right? This happens consistently on film when I watch them. Sometimes they blow these protections, right? So this is pretty simple here. Okay, it's pretty simple here. They're sliding the protection this way. So this is the zone side and this is the man side, right? So this tackle here, he's a really good player. He's going to get drafted probably in the first or early in the second round, right? Really good player. But he does bust the protection sometimes and he messes this up. He's supposed to block this guy out here. Ends up inside, right, on the defensive tackle. And now there's a free runner coming at Penix. But again, look at Penix's eyes. He's not looking at the rush. He steps up, climbs the pocket, and just rifles this thing, all right? And now this is an all-arm throw, right? He's not able to get his legs into it, right? This is an all-arm throw, but it just shows how strong his arm is. That an all-arm throw, he can throw this ball, and this corner is tight in here, right? Makes a play on the football, but the velocity is so good that it doesn't knock the ball down, it knocks it up. And the receiver is able to catch the football. This is a really impressive rep here. And the accuracy is on point, right? It's on point. It's right in his hands. It's a great play from the corner, but too much, too good, too impressive from Michael Penix Jr. here, man. All right, this next play here. All right, so this one was another really impressive throw here, okay? So one of the things that I always look at when I'm evaluating quarterbacks, right? So aggressive throwers, okay? Aggressive throwers of the football, right? So a lot of people talk about that. And when they think of aggressive throwers, they think of guys who have big arms, right? That can drive the football and have a really strong arm. But I think the key to being an aggressive thrower is accuracy, right? You see it all the time. Look at these backup quarterbacks that come into the game and make these really nice highlight throws, and we're talking about them for a week, and then 2 weeks later you're never hearing about them again, right? So think Jake Browning or like Bailey Zappi or Nick Mullins. Some of those guys have had some really impressive high-level throws, but they don't make them consistently because they don't have the arm strength to be able to do it. But it shows up in games because those guys are very accurate throwers of the football, right? So, they got to cut it loose. They're backups, so they're just like, I got to just throw this ball, man. I'm trying to win a job, I'm trying to stay in the league. So they will be aggressive with their decision-making, and you'll see it. Then you take other guys who are big-arm, strong-arm quarterbacks that don't have as good accuracy. You don't see those highlights from them. I'm thinking of Malik Willis, right? There's no highlights of Malik Willis threading the ball in between the numbers, down the middle of the field where, into tight windows and stuff like that. He has the arm to do it, but he doesn't have the accuracy to do it. So the accuracy is the key piece to that. Penix has the accuracy and he's got the arm strength. And on this play here, I wasn't able to get the wide shot of this one, but this is another quarters coverage here, all right? So we can't see the full formation, but this is a 3-by-1. And so we've got this safety on the other side of the field, and he is playing a cone bracket on the single receiver. There's an outside release from the single receiver, so his job now is to get his eyes back and help in the middle of the field. And you'll see this safety right here. He signals out to him. He's like, hey, man, if there's an outside release, I'm going to need your help. Right, so he's there. He's over this receiver here. He's pointing to the safety. I need your help on the inside. Safety comes, and Penix just fits that thing into a keyhole, man. Like, let's look at this. Watch the velocity on this throw. Bang, in there in a hurry, and then accurate. Accurate, right on the hands of the receiver again, almost like it's a handoff. Really impressive play right there. High-level stuff, all right? So next play here. All right, I think they're in quarters again here. And so the offense for Washington, I will say, it's very impressive, right? This is a really good offense, well-oiled machine. The OC and the head coach, they're both offensive coaches. These guys know offensive football, man, and they really understand how to stress a defense, okay? So 3-by-1 formation here. Again, we're going to have to get some adjustments here. And so on this play, they're faking like it's an RPO, right? So they're faking this little screen out here, okay? But it's really a post-wheel concept, all right? And so the reason why that matters on this play is this star player here, right? He's outside leverage of this receiver here, right? So he is going to carry any wheel from number 2 up the seam and up the sideline, right? So he's going to be outside leverage. The corner is also going to try to stay outside leverage, right? So he's going to stay outside leverage unless he gets a post route, right? So if he gets a post, he's going to try to fight back inside, but he's got help over here from this safety who is going to defend this side of the field, right? This side of the middle of the field here, right? And so as the play develops here, the fake of the RPO forces this star player to hesitate for a second. And now the order of the receivers has switched, right? This is number 3 now, and this is number 2. He needs to be outside leverage of number 2, right? So that he can carry this wheel. The safe and the corner is trying to get inside, right? Because he's getting a post route. So now what's supposed to be created here is 2 brackets, right? So a bracket from this post route by this safety here. So this safety would be inside leverage, and then the corner will be outside leverage, right? Then another bracket is supposed to be created by this star player here being outside leverage of the wheel, and then the corner being inside leverage of the wheel. But the star player doesn't make it there, right? That little pump action gets him inside, and then Penix just throws this ball so accurate, right? Great touch, great timing to be able to throw this ball into this tight window over the outstretched hand of the star player. Great completion here, all right? So I'll run it one time through. There was a lot of talk in there, so I'll run it one time through so you can just see it yourself, right? And I'll talk you through it, right? We get the motion, Fake the pump. 2 becomes 3. Tight window. Bang. Fits that thing in there. Really impressive offense here. Okay. So we'll see it from the tight angle too. All right. We get the motion across. Penix fakes it. Throws it. Look at how tight this window is here. Really tight window. Boom. Layers that ball in there. Awesome throw. All right. So this next play, all right, so we got another middle field closed here. Okay. So we're going to get this fade ball. And again, really, really well designed offense here, right? The stacks, right? Stack alignment. Also, they're wider, right? So the safety, he's going to be wrong if he, hedges his bets and goes to one side, and he does that. So now we get this outside release from Adunze. And again, the accuracy. Look at the window that he puts his ball. This is great coverage. This is great coverage from this corner, right? Great coverage from the corner here. To be able to recover, catch back up, get into the hip of the receiver, get his arm out. But the accuracy, again, it's like a handoff. He handed that ball to Adunze down the field for an explosive play. Really impressive stuff here. All right, so we'll see it from the tight. It's the last play here. So we get Penix. Drops back. Fits this thing. Look at how tight the window is. Look how tight the window is to throw this football. Corner's all over it. Corner is all over it. That is an impressive throw. And Michael Penix Jr. made himself some money. I've heard some people saying he's going to be a second-round pick, a third-round pick. I totally get and I totally understand the injury history stuff. But he was on a national stage, and I think people are going to learn this guy is a top 10 talent. Top 10 talent. Now, where he goes, I don't know. I'm not into the prediction business of what team's going to select him or where he's going to go in the draft. But to me, watching this guy on tape, this is a top 10 talent, and I think that there are 4 quarterbacks at the top of the draft that all need to be in the conversation for who the best one is. And Penix is up there with him. All right. So now he's going to go into the national championship game going up against Michigan. That is going to be a true test. A lot of sim pressures, right? So a lot of times you don't know where the pressure is going to be coming from, right? I think that, this defense up against this high level offense that we just watched, I think it's going to be a great chess match. I really like Penix, so I want to see him ball out. I got a guy, Mikey Sanders still, that's a safety over there at Michigan that I coached for Pop Warner, so I got rooting interest there. So I'm really excited to watch that game between 2 high-level football programs, an elite quarterback going up against an elite defense. Man, that is going to be fun to watch, and I will be back with another breakdown. So, as always, you know what it is. It's Coach Williams, Ball Hawks, we fly, I'm out. Peace.